I didn't know when it's time to retire. Excuse me. Gotta get through this. For many years at the meetings that I used to go to, I was the youngest guy there, always. And then something happened. Over time, I became middle-aged, the guy in the middle. But recently, the oldest guy in the room. And when that happens, I think something triggers a thought that says, time to move on and do something a little bit different. And so that's why I'm here tonight. For those of you who have heard speeches given by me at CDM, you know I always sneak in stuff about golf. But I've been asked not to do that tonight. And so I won't, because there's a limited amount of time to have any discussions about anything to do with golf. I'll mention just one thing, and that is, I've got pictures down in a room that we have in our house called the Golf Room, that are from when Tom Furman and I were in Cairo, Egypt, and we played at the base of the pyramids together. And the pyramids are only about a mile away. And it looks like the pyramids are right over your shoulder. That's how close they are. And I'll always value that trip and picture that we took there. Another time I was playing with Tom, we were out in Denver, Colorado, and it started to snow. And Tom had finished the first 9 holes with 1 ball. And he said, I want to finish the round. And Rick Thornton and I were starting to freeze to death. But when the CEO says you're going to finish the round of golf, you finish the round of golf. And we did, and we were frostbitten. We weren't in the hospital all that long, but Tom did finish the round of golf with that ball. So I have some great memories associated with golf that have to do with CDM. I was playing with Dick Fox one day, and we were playing at Andover Country Club, and it was over 100 degrees. And Dick, when it's warm, sweats profusely, buckets. And we were worried that he was going to drop 10 or 15 pounds and that he wouldn't make it through, but he did make it through. And we were playing a scramble that day, and we had Willie Vicens on our team. And Willie, I got to pick on you for a minute. Willie is one of the brightest people in CDM. He has a doctorate degree from MIT, I think 3 degrees from MIT. President of our consulting and engineering divisions, clearly one of the smartest people. Golfing, and he was in our group. And Willie doesn't play a lot of golf, but I noticed after 9 holes, what you normally do as a scramble is you have a guy who doesn't play all that often putt first, and hopefully he'll give you the line, and then everybody putts from the same spot. You guys ought to listen to this, you'd learn everything. So I noticed, I noticed something after 9 holes. Now Willie, being as smart as he is, ought to understand angles and shapes and designs and everything else. Every putt he makes is 10 feet, which is great if you hit the ball 10 feet from the hole. But if you're 20 feet from the hole and he putts first, you only get you halfway there. What's worse is when you then get up close 2 feet from the hole, he puts you 8 feet by. Because every putt is 10 feet. So I said to him after 9 holes, I said, Willie, did you notice anything about your putting? Yeah, it's not really good on line, is it? I said, no, it's not to do with the line. We're talking about the distance here. And but we never managed to solve that problem. It was interesting. We played around with golf with Dick Fox down in Florida. Dick started the Advanced Leadership Program in CDM several years ago. And we were having a meeting down there. There were 10 foursomes. And it looked pretty good for the first 2 holes, and then it started to rain. Pouring rain. Buckets of rain. There was no one out on the course shortly after that except the 10 foursomes from CDM. And only 3 of the 10 finished. And of course, you guys know that my group was one of the 3. We had a German fellow in our group, Christian Bufchiniak, who many of you know. And we all had rain suits on. He had a very thin spring jacket. And he kept saying to me after every hole, "We quit now?" And that became kind of, we'd get on the tee and the thing would be, "We quit now, we quit now, we quit now." And I said, "No, not going to quit now." And finally in the 18th hole, he went to ask me a question. I said, "I know what you're going to ask." He said, "No, you don't." I said, "What are you going to ask?" He said, "I want to know if anybody ever drowned in CDM." And I said, "No, not to the best of our knowledge." So enough golf stories. But then there was a time Chris Hoot took us to the Bisharac Golf Links. in Amman, Jordan. It was featured in Golf Digest not too long ago. And the reason it was featured is it's one of the few golf courses in the world that doesn't have one blade of grass. It only has dirt. It has mats that you hit off of, and the caddy carries around a little piece of AstroTurf. And if he's lucky enough to find the ball, he puts the ball in the AstroTurf, and you hit it from there. And the greens are not green, they're browns, they're compacted dirt. And what was the guy's name who had the sand wedge that I ruined? Bill McDonough. Yeah, you're supposed to hit off the mat, and I hit it on the dirt, and I wanted to hit a real chip shot. Not that I know how to hit a real chip shot, but I wanted to hit a real chip shot, and I borrowed his sand wedge, not knowing that under this nice-looking dirt was nothing but huge rocks. And I hit it, and you could hear the sound, and he wasn't very happy. But we had some good martinis after that round. Big, I don't remember. I was going to tell a story about Buddy, but I won't tell a story about Buddy. Buddy tried to, the Buddy that he's referring to, some people in the room know who Buddy's name is. He once tried to kill me with a golf cart. And he claimed that it was because he got the pedals mixed up. For Christ's sake, there's only two pedals. One's the gas and one's the brake. I should have hit him with the 5-iron. It would save the company a lot of money. We also used to have a lot of matches with our bankers. Tom Brennan from the Bank of America, Senior Vice President of the Bank of America, is over here tonight. And he and his boss, Fritz Ferbert, used to arrange, we used to try and have a home-and-home series. Fritz was a member of Concord Country Club. So we'd play a match there, and then we'd play one at Andover Country Club. And it took me a while to figure out that the mission of Tom Furman, Tom Brennan, and Fritz Ferbert was for me to give enough strokes that at the end of the round, I would always pay out money. I actually shot a 73 one time at Andover Country Club and paid out over $50, but who's counting and who's remembering? Probably 8 or 9 years ago. Tom has a lot of my money, he's a good banker. One more story about Fritz, who was the executive vice president? Yeah. At what ultimately became Bank of America. He used to invite me, he and Tom used to invite me every year to play in the Pro-Am out in the Shire Country Club with the, what's now called the Champions Tour, so I got to play with some great players out there. Excuse me. This time, one day, we were teamed with John Jacobs, and Fritz was in my group, and Fritz was playing absolutely terribly. And if you've never played in the Pro-Am, it's kind of intimidating sometimes to play in front of other people, even if it's a small group. It can be very intimidating, and Fritz was a mess. He was hitting them into the crowd, and he was missing and doing everything. And John Jacobs was trying to help him, but it wasn't working. It just got worse and worse. So about the 16th hole, John Jacobs came over to me and he said, is this the banker that invited you to this tournament? I said, yes, it is. And Fritz proceeded to hit another terrible shot. And John Jacobs put his shoulder around me and said, his arm around my shoulder and said, you know, there are other bankers. Okay, that's truly enough golf. There's a few people I want to single out tonight that have made me look good throughout my whole career, probably more so than I deserve. Let me just mention them. Charlene Allen, our Director of Human Resources. Bob Cabral, our Facilities Manager. Eric Hartman, our Chief Financial Officer, and before him, Bob Anton, who couldn't make it tonight. Marlene Hobel, our Director of Corporate Communications. Jim Lackman, our General Counsel. Bob McCarthy, our Treasurer. Ken Page, our Health and Safety Officer, and all-around guy who has also helped a lot of the CEOs in this company. And Peter Palmisano, our Chief Information Officer. All of those people have helped me look good over the years, and I thank you. The first person I ever hired is here tonight, June Oliver. And I want to thank her for being a mentor to all of the people in the accounting department that she mentored over the years. I also want to recognize somebody very important, and that is our executive assistant, Pat Sharkey. For the past several years, Pat has served as an executive assistant not only to me, but to John Manning and Bill Howard. At the end of March, she's retiring after 46 years and 10 months at CDM. She started when she was 5 years old. And finally, to my sons, or at least one of them. To both of them, thank you for your support, and most of all, for giving us our wonderful daughter-in-laws, Kelly and Tracy. And finally, I don't have the words to say thank you enough. To Joan. All those nights you were alone, which you told me you were.
Big mouth.
I owe everything I have to you, and I thank you so much. Got a little something for you tonight. So with that, thank you for your attendance tonight, for your kind comments. They're way overboard on what I deserve, but the four most important words at the end of the speech are, the bar is open. Thank you.